11 o'clock at night on Tuesday, election day. Hasn't gotten to me. I stayed busy. I stayed off of social media. I think I posted one or two things, but I didn't look at a thing. I don't want to see what people are saying about the election. Nope. I've been staying clear of it. I've been much happier. Whatever happens is gonna happen, and we'll deal with it then. But today was a good day, man. It was not really much going on, but I made the most of it. Dropped the kids off at school. Went straight to yoga. I've been going to Greenleaf Yoga Studio. Really enjoying it. Hopefully this week I'll make it twice. But yeah, really, really, really digging it. I'm gonna actually ask the owner if he'll be on the podcast. I'd like to interview him. I like what he focuses on in his practice. Yeah, really enjoying it. If you're local, you should check that out. That's in Whittier. Greenleaf Yoga Studio. Just kind of crazy too that I could go in there and actually do it now. Before I was so, I would only do it. I think there was no way. I didn't even want to tell people I was doing yoga now. I laugh about it. I tell guys about it all the time. Um, and tonight I actually led. Anthony couldn't make class tonight. He had car trouble, so I had to teach the Tuesday night class, and I started off with stretching and some yoga, breathing, and all that. And it was a little weird teaching it, but it was the same lesson that I'd gotten in that morning and in the morning session, and also something that's really probably one of the most important things I've gotten from the yoga practice that Anthony's helped me with is breathing and just how important that is, and especially when it comes to jiu-jitsu, but just in life in general. I was like, we all are dealing with so much stress this time of the year, especially with elections, especially with social media, and just everything can cause stress. But I think so few of us take the time to actually do any deep breathing or meditation or anything like that. But I found the deep breathing just to be completely relaxing. I do it at night. I go a little bit deeper every time, and by the end of like 3, 4, 5 minutes of that, I don't have any problems. I'm good. Um, so another thing that's been going on this week is Anthony suggested I read the War of Art. I think it's Stephen Pressfield. So I picked up that book, been checking out because he hears me talking about all these ideas I have and how I keep saying I'm working on unlocking when I'm really not. I'm taking breaks. I'm writing short stories, and I have 3 brand new short stories that I want to develop. Like they're almost done, but I was like, you know what? I need to finish unlocking. I started reading this book, and it talks about resistance, and all the resistance that writers and artists and people that want to really do something important, the more important it is to them, the more they're gonna self sabotage and just have resistance to it. So it was good reading that. I've overcome a lot of those things, but it made me realize that's definitely what I'm doing with the end of unlocking. So um, I wrote notes on top of my stories. I on the short stories I have printed up. I said, do not move from desk until after I finish the last chapter of unlocking. And but somehow these stories made it onto upstairs where I was gonna work on them yesterday. And man, I was like, it's crazy how my brain works. I told myself I wasn't gonna touch them until I was done, and then I still went to go get them. And I put them back this morning. I put them back on my desk. Wasn't gonna touch them, but I still came in here one time. I looked at them. I was like, oh, maybe I should just work on them a little bit as a little break. I was gonna be working on the final chapter, but then maybe I'm gonna need a break during the day, and so I can start doing that. But then I made myself stop. I was like, look, any time spent on that could have been spent on this finalizing the book. I just need to finish up with unlocking, so that's what I'm on. So I think, yeah, man, it's gonna be pretty good. Well, not good, but I'm so far I'm happy with it, and but I just have to get over that fear of it not doing well or not being what people expected. Because honestly, I just need to write the story the way I need to write it and just be done with it. Because I got a lot more stuff I want to work on. Speaking of which, some of those horror stories. Well, I don't even think they would. I wouldn't even call them horror, or maybe light horror. Definitely a good amount of violence in them, but nothing too crazy. One's got a demon that was actually, or maybe in my house before. Um, it's a long story, but I'm writing about it. Um, what else? What had happened this week? Oh, So Brightside did very well. It's on sale right now. I think it's going to be on sale until for 99 cents on Amazon. Yeah, you can pick that. Well, actually, everywhere I think. So you get it for 99 cents. But it was the number 11 science fiction book out of all books. It was on all books on Amazon. It was 190. So the ranking on it was awesome. All kinds of audiobooks sold too. You can get that super cheap right now. I think it's $1.99 on Audible if you buy the ebook first for 99 cents. So being able to get that full length book, that's a steal. I would do it. But yeah, check that out. T. Quillen does an amazing job on that. And people are also responding to the Twisted Reunion audiobook that we just released last week. So that's doing great. People are loving that. Yeah, I think T did an amazing job. We'll do one of those short stories tonight. So things are good. I'm motivated. I cleaned everything up. I'm getting rid of all the clutter. I'm organized. I'm taking stuff off of my list one day at a time. And yeah, things are going in the right direction. Excited about the changes with training at night and helping teach. That's definitely challenging me, and I feel like I don't know enough to teach. But right now, I'm able to pass on some things that are helping, and even if like in today's class, I taught the yoga with the breathing probably for like maybe 5 or 10 minutes, probably 10 minute start, and that's not how a typical jiu-jitsu class is opened, and but it was cool, and I think everyone got something from it. I was like, and even if they just got the breathing and that breathing exercise to try at home whenever they're stressed or at the office or whatever else, I was like, that's awesome. I was like, so hopefully that's what I helped pass on today. But this weekend, I am very much looking forward to. Well, I'm a little nervous about it, just because I'm excited about it, I should say. Olivia is doing a jiu-jitsu tournament on Saturday, and her mom, Jen, is going to be competing on Sunday. And Jen is definitely a little nervous about it because one, everyone gets nervous. I mean, unless you've been doing tons of them, but especially for your first tournament. She's 40 years old, and just going for it. So I'm super proud of them. I told them that I'm just about. I mean, I'll be done with the final chapter just probably this week. I'm planning to finish it on Sunday or Monday. So I told them if they win, no added pressure, but if they win, it's going in the book. So it'll go in until unlocking if they have a good showing. If they lose, I was like, nope, I'm not talking about you guys. Actually, I said I might put it at the very front of the book and really large. Like, yep, they had a tournament. They blew it. Just like Daddy. Damn it. No, I think my wife should do very well, and I'm just proud of her for getting out there, both of them. It's not an easy thing to do. Like Anthony says, he's been to war, but he still gets nervous about doing these tournaments. It's hard putting yourself out there, but you should try it. I think it's definitely something everyone should try. The risk of injury isn't that great, and it's not like you're taking blows to the head or anything like that. I don't know when I'm going to compete again. I thought about doing this one. But then I realized it'd be better just for me to be there to support, and that way I wouldn't have to train hard or diet too. So, yay for that decision. All right, fellas. What else? Oh, you know what? Since this has been such a short episode, I'll give you guys 2 short stories today. So we're gonna go with the brand new Bad Habits. But then we'll also go with No One's Here. That's a fun little story. I've been meaning to write some more of those, but if you guys like it, let me know. Let me know if you want to hear some more of No One. Alright, so here it is. Let's start this off with Bad Habits, T. Quillen. Hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll be talking with you soon. Peace.
Bad Habits. Bert Brighton was a mountain of a man. But it was his way with words, his power to persuade, that made him the best life coach in Arizona. He'd been in the business for 10 years and had bettered almost 1,000 lives. Bad habits die hard, but with Bert's perfect success rate, no one questioned his dedication and methods, at least not to his face. That included Walter Higgins, who was sitting in a chair in this nondescript building at the Arizona-Nevada border. Bert knew this particular intervention wasn't going to be easy. Walter had 60 years of deep-rooted ways he needed to break through. But for Bert, failure was not an option. There were plenty of places Bert would have rather been. He was supposed to be in Vegas, lounging at the pool, trying his luck at the tables. But Walter's wife had called in a panic, and Bert couldn't turn down the opportunity to help correct someone's life. The $750,000 fee didn't hurt either. Hot and hungry, Bert ignored his discomfort and thought about the job. Sure, the conditions weren't optimal, but he dealt with worse. The sooner he broke Walter's habit, the sooner he could get in his Porsche and drive to his hotel. Bert positioned his face just inches from the trembling man's puckered mouth. He raised his voice and said, "Do not spit it out. You have to be strong, Walter, okay? Do not spit that out." The look of pain in Walter's tearing eyes warned Bert to move, but he couldn't get out of the way quick enough. A mixture of tobacco juice and snot shot out of the man's nose and mouth, sprayed Bert's face. Bert took a step back, calmly bent down and pulled a rag from the bag of supplies he'd picked up at the gas station. He counted to 5 and wiped off his face. "Okay, so we're not off to such a great start." Bert smiled, kept his voice calm. "I know that you think my techniques are a bit unorthodox, but let me assure you, they work. You may not realize it, Walter, but you've been given a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to change everything." Bert took a swig of his bottle of sweetened green tea, while Walter spat the remainder of the brownish-green concoction onto the dusty floor. "Did you swallow any of it?" Walter nodded his head, looked as if he might throw up. Bert said, "It's not nice to swallow something gross and disgusting, is it?" Walter spit again. I promise, I won't." Bert shushed him by holding up his finger. "Don't make promises yet, Walter. I don't want to repeat myself again, so listen up. I talk, and you listen. Got it?" After Walter nodded, Bert pulled a 32-ounce cup from the bag and faced the back of the room. He turned around 30 seconds later, careful not to spill the yellow liquid sloshing around in the cup. Walter's eyes grew wide. "You're not serious?" Bert swished the cup of urine in front of Walter's faded baby blues. "I'm not drinking that." Bert gave Walter a friendly slap. "You need to see things from all perspectives. From Nancy's perspective." When Walter began to protest, Bert pinched the old man's cheeks together and emptied the cup's contents into his mouth. "Now, before you spit that out, I want you to think about something." Bert kept pinching Walter's cheeks and tilted his head back so nothing poured out. "Do you see how someone else might not like this, Walter? Can you see Nancy's perspective?" He let Walter's cheeks go. "Can you see?" Walter was on the verge of swallowing as he nodded. Bert walked back to his tea, finished it in one gulp. He pulled another one from the paper bag, along with a metal bucket he'd set on the floor. When he looked back at Walter's bulging cheeks, he was disappointed. "It looks like you're thinking of doing something very stupid, Walter." Bert grabbed the empty green tea bottle and dropped it into the bucket. The sound of shattering glass made Walter jerk. He probably would have jumped out of his chair if he hadn't been tied to it. Bert held up his new tea and said, "If you spit that out, it would probably take me 4 or 5 more of these before I could fill up another cup." Bert chugged the entire contents and dropped the empty bottle into a bucket. Neither one of us has that kind of time, and I've got another 100 miles or so to Vegas. Bert pulled a 9mm from his waistband. Now swallow to get the full perspective. Walter didn't swallow, so Bert aimed the gun at Walter's face. What are you more afraid of? Swallowing some piss or dying? Bert pulled the trigger, but rotated the pistol to the left so the bullet grazed Walter's ear. The smell of gunpowder and piss filled the small room. The piss wasn't Bert's. It was the growing stain in Walter's expensive Fioravanti slacks. It's not easy to break habits, Walter. And I know a man like you isn't used to being treated this way, but that's exactly why your problem has continued to go on. People are scared of you, Walter. Your money scares people. Walter spit the piss from his mouth. You can have whatever you want. Whatever that cunt is paying you, I'll double it. Bert popped down his third green tea and took a long swig. The desert heat was starting to get to him, and this unexpected intervention was making him really thirsty. Just when I thought you were making progress, you revert back to your bad habit. Thinking you can buy your way out. Look at yourself. You're sitting in your own piss. This is the bottom, Walter. There's no more bargaining. You won't get away with this. Bert didn't want to overreact to the man's desperate outburst, but he wasn't sure how he should respond. While he considered his options, Bert finished off his tea, dropped the empty bottle into the bucket where it shattered against the others. Instead of reaching down and grabbing another bottle, he lifted a hunk of broken concrete from the floor. He held the jagged hunk in front of him and said, "Your money makes you think you have some kind of control over this situation, doesn't it?" Walter's eyes followed the concrete up and down as it bounced in Bert's right hand, his left still holding the gun. Bert raised the rock and pretended he was going to throw it at Walter, but instead he dropped it into the bucket, where it crushed the shattered glass. "I've got another idea, Walter," Bert said. "Now open wide." Walter shook his head, pursed his lips. Bert dug the pistol into Walter's temple. Although he'd already cried and pissed himself, Walter pretended to be a hard ass, kept his mouth closed. Accustomed to dealing with difficult clients, Bert simply changed tactics. Removed the gun from Walter's head and rammed it into his mouth, the sound of metal grinding against enamel. "I've learned a lot over the years, Walter, and there are two ways to go about things. The easy way and the hard way. It's totally your choice. The sooner you understand this, the better off you'll be." Bert drove the barrel farther into Walter's mouth. "You're going to swallow something, just like you made Nancy. Now, what's it going to be? A bullet or the glass? What do you want?" Unable to speak, Walter frantically eyed the bucket before Bert could pull the trigger. "Good choice, Walter. You're not ready for this to be over. You've got chutzpah." That's how you say that, right? Bert withdrew the gun from Walter's mouth and told him to keep it open. He picked up the bucket, placed it to Walter's lips, and tilted the bottom end up. "There you go. I don't care how you get it down, just make sure you get it all. If even so much as one shard slips out, I'll make sure you finish the rest of what's in the bucket." Walter's bleeding, distended cheeks didn't move. "You're disappointing me, Walter. I was told you were a man willing to go the extra mile. Isn't that how you built your company? It's made a lot of people very rich, including your wife. She needs your bad habits to stop. They're going to tear down everything you've built. Bert raised the gun. Just picture Nancy. You remember your niece, don't you? She's your bad habit, Walter. And you need to put an end to it. Now, chew. Bert stood back and opened a pack of gum while Walter worked on the glass, wincing as slivers embedded into his cheeks and gums. Shards shredded his tongue and throat. Bert left through the back door and called over his shoulder. "Don't stop chewing!" He came back a few minutes later with a 5-gallon gas can. "All right, let's see." Walter opened wide to show all the glass was gone. Wow, that was messy. Blood dribbled down Walter's chin. "Go to hell." "Well, I know you're mad. But pointing your finger at me, trying to blame others, that's not going to help end your addiction. That's why we're here, to correct inappropriate behavior." Bert cocked his head. "Well, that and to make sure your wife doesn't lose her fortune because you can't stop diddling little kids. Your wife's not a saint, but actually she's kind of a bitch. But I see her point. I mean, who's going to hold on to stock in a company run by someone like you?" "I'll never do it again. I swear. I fucking swear." "I know, Walter." Bert forced Walter's head back and stuck the gasoline can hose down his throat. "You might as well relax. This thing's full." When he reached the half-gallon mark, Bert decided that was enough and backed away. The color drained from Walter's face. Bert warned him again about throwing up. "Remember, mind over matter. You can do this." Bert was impressed that the old man kept the fluid down for so long. But he knew it was just a matter of time before he retched. He walked behind Walter's chair and said, "I think you've learned your lesson, haven't you?" Walter violently nodded yes. "That's what I like to see. I'm proud of you, Walter. Now, I've just got one last thing I need you to swallow." Bert reached into his pocket and pulled out a book of matches. He tore one free and lit it, the flame jumping to life and burning bright. "Wait, what? I swear I won't do it. I promise to God on my grave, I'll never do it again. I swear. Please." Bert set fire to the entire matchbook, held it by the corner. "Hey, it's okay. You're almost done. Well done, in fact." Bert's face crinkled at the bad pun. Wished he could take it back. But the matchbook was already falling into Walter's mouth. "No one's here." "I'm no one. Been no one since I was old enough to remember. The name on my birth certificate might read Andrew, but I'm never called that. I'm no one. Mother always said so. It kept me safe, and it kept her from lying. No one's here, baby." She had 2 hiding places for me when she entertained men like Desmond. Sometimes she put me under the bed. Usually she put me in the closet. That's how I learned to do it to her like a grown-up. That closet was small, and it smelled funny. Not like this one. I've been in here for 8 hours, and I could stay 8 more if I had to. But I don't think I will. They go to bed early, and they just turned off the TV. I won't make any noise. When I was a kid, sometimes I accidentally rustled dresses or bumped into the door. If Desmond asked what it was, Mother would tell him not to worry, that she needed to feel him inside her. If he tried to get up, she'd swear no one was there. No one was watching. Just keep going. Don't stop. Don't ever stop. I'm never remembered. Nobody will miss me when I'm gone. I blend into the crowd, another nameless face. But I like it. I'm no better, no worse. I'm simply here watching, like the angels. Even though people may not know my face, they feel me. When they found my mother, the police said no one could have crept into Mother's room while she combed her hair. No one could have done such brutal things to her. And if you ask my neighbors who tortures all the strays, I know they'd say no one does that. And surely no one in this city is responsible for the horror happening in the schoolyard. The lights are turned off. Now it's just as dark out there as it is in here. I'll give them a few minutes to get settled into bed. No need to rush things now. Everything is set. I already searched their bedroom. I found everything I needed. No one needs to watch this. They're getting undressed. I hear zippers and buttons and pants falling to the floor. I don't hear any more talking. Just the bed squeak briefly, the covers shuffling. They're probably curled up in bed, whispering, "I love you." No one should have that kind of relationship. No one deserves that kind of special bond. This damn door didn't creak like that earlier. I should have oiled it. I don't think they heard it, though. There's no noise. He's probably touching her, stroking her hair, her thick brunette hair. Just like the only woman no one ever cried for. I wonder what her throat will feel like. How soft her skin is. Skin so thin. God didn't think that one through very well. No one could have done a better job. This is my favorite part. They can't hear my footsteps on the carpet, but I know they can feel my presence. They always can. They know someone's here. I see it in their eyes, even in the dark, where no one can see. She's whispering that she's heard something. I'm in the doorway. She's whispering because she knows someone is with them. The husband's telling her it's nothing. No one's here. He's just as scared, but he doesn't want to show it. But he knows someone is coming.